Spoiler alert, you've been warned.
I beg your pardon? I beg your pardon?
I know I said I wanted horror movies to bring back talking demons. That's what's missing in most modern possession films. Talking demon.
Stick your up her, you mother worthless sucker.
Be silent!
But this might have been too far. Hey Lashy Kids and Driving Mutants, I'm Lady Shasha, Mistress of the Snark, and I just watched The Deliverance. I recently did a live stream reacting to the true stories about the Ammons house in Gary, Indiana, which I thought that this movie was going to be based on. So after doing my reaction video to true stories, and shout out to Nightmare Files, whose video was excellent in explaining the true story behind the Ammons house possession? I guess the house itself is possessed? Yeah, we'll call it that. I was used to seeing this mother and daughter. This is the real picture of the mother and daughter. So when I saw the trailer for The Deliverance, it kind of threw me for a loop because the casting, I noticed that it said inspired by, not based on, which is a very important distinction to make. Inspired by means that the events actually inspire the story, but the story does not reflect the actual events, if that makes sense to you. Based on true events are movies that are a little bit more biographical. Inspired by, they can stray as far away from the story as they want to. In a similar way that Psycho and Texas Chainsaw Massacre were both inspired by the crimes of Ed Gein. If you go into this movie knowing that it's not a dramatization of the real events, you'll have a better time. Just know that it's inspired by a house in Gary, Indiana that might be a portal to hell. And it's funny because at the start of this movie, I wondered to myself, why is this mother so angry and abusive? I'm talking about Ebony. And then I remembered, not based on, inspired by. For me, the first frightening thing that happened was the milk scene. Because, you know, a lot of people are lactose intolerant. And, I mean, I personally am not lactose intolerant, but I hate milk. I think it's gross. I don't like the consistency of it. I don't know how people drink it. I don't know why someone would drink it purposely. It's just, when the little boy had the milk, I was disgusted.
I am disgusted.
This review is going to be so disjointed because now my next immediate thought was Glenn Close doing the sewing, and I was like, what? I'm not mad at it though. I mean, she looked like she was doing it sort of right. So I was just really, really surprised by that. I was surprised by her whole performance. I actually found it entertaining. Then I was wondering to myself, you know, after that nice scene, which was really cool of, you know, Ebony doing her daughter's hair and then Alberta doing Ebony's hair. Like it was, you know, it was a cute little scene. Then we go right back to the family dysfunction. And I was like, why does this family have to be so dysfunctional? This could have been like, you know, a normal haunted house movie, like a poltergeist type movie. Why do we have to add the black trauma, Lee Daniels? I know that's your thing. That's what you do, but you don't have to. It's a choice. You chose to make that choice, but you don't have to. I mean, the last Lee Daniels movie I watched was Precious over a decade ago, and I was like, anyways, the mother, Ebony, has the most negative, atrocious personality that I have seen on screen in a long time. Like, almost zero redeeming qualities other than, you know, that scene when she defended her son from the bullies. Very few redeeming qualities. Like I just mentioned, she fiercely defended her son against bullies, but on the other hand, she kind of assaulted children. So Then 2 scenes later, she made the racist comment to the Asian exterminator, and I'm like, why? Why? Why are we doing this? Just unnecessary bigotry. That said, I did love Cynthia, the social worker character that was played by Monique, but Monique usually does a good job with her acting. Like, I don't think Monique has ever played a role where someone said, oh, Monique didn't do a good job. No, she did the damn thing. I liked Monique in this. I also liked her in The Reading. That was, if you haven't seen The Reading, watch it. It was pretty entertaining. And who knew we were going to have the scene stealer that is Miss Lawrence? I was really, really impressed. I would like to see them in more things. I like Miss Lawrence's performance. The 3 child actors did a great job of what they were given. They are little stars in the making. Well, Caleb is already a star. The other 2 will be becoming stars if you don't already see them as stars. They are little stars. I want to see them in better movies. Now, the other thing I didn't get was why so many men thought that Alberta was sexy. Like, is this like a elder king? Well, with the first guy that was sitting on a bench, he looked about her age. So that made sense. The guy that was outside of the chemotherapy place, he made sense because he was about her age. I could see him. But then the other guy, he looked at least 20 years younger than her. I mean, I guess it's a kink that happens, but you just don't see it on film all the time. Well, you see it in reverse. They do that a lot with male actors. Like, they'll be 75 and then they'll have like a co-star love interest that's 35. And it's still creepy and I don't like it. I'm just saying, I want less of that. Anyway, here is how I would have rewritten Ebony's character, because from the beginning, she is just a mess and she's awful and she's terrible and she's alcoholic and she's abusive and she's just all the wrong things. I would have done it more in a way to make it seem like the house was affecting her. Like, have the movie start with Ebony actually being a regular mom and have her descend into the alcoholism. I feel like that would be a better character arc. She descends into alcoholism and then she has to fight her way back out of it. That's just how I would rewrite it, but that's just me. Sort of like the way the father was in Amityville. He was like normal, or I think he was a stepfather. He was like normal in that the house's negative influence made him become more and more abusive and threatening. Maybe they didn't want to be accused of copying Amityville, but you kind of still copied Amityville. Like, the evil was coming out of their basement too. Like, that's not the only time evil is. I mean, you're not doing anything new. So, I mean, it's a little new, but it's kind of the same thing, but it's not the same thing, if you know what I mean. This just kind of feels like a horror movie that was made by a person who doesn't watch horror movies or respect horror movies. It's giving cash grab. It has some elements that should make it creepy, but it fails at those things. If I entertained you, made you smile, or helped you pass the time, please consider supporting this channel so that I can do that more. Horror channels often get suppressed and demonetized, but you can help in 3 ways: by pledging a monthly contribution on Patreon, sending a one-time tip using your preferred financial app, or you could help for free by liking and commenting for the algorithm, and most importantly, sharing this video on your social media. Thank you so much. There is one sequence with some pretty decent gore. I mean, spoiler alert, there's a decapitation. I always enjoy those. You know I'm the gore connoisseur. I always enjoy a good decapitation. And this has a very good decapitation, but then the scene becomes comical in a non-intentional way. There were a lot of scenes in this that were comical in a non-intentional way. I did appreciate the psych evaluation scenes, although they were too short. It was giving a little nod to The Exorcist, so obviously Lee Daniels has seen The Exorcist, or at least the trailer for it, and decided to do that with this. I appreciate that. The mother's hospitalization was realistic. I mean, I've experienced that. I've went through 2 bouts of depression and I've had to go through that same thing. So those scenes were pretty realistic in my opinion. But I knew not to tell psych professionals that I believed in ghosts, because they don't believe in ghosts. I believe in ghosts, but don't tell anybody that's in the psychiatric field that you believe in ghosts, because they will think that you're crazy. They don't believe in any supernatural entities and they will characterize this as delusions. So don't tell them. Now let's get to the most entertaining part of the movie for me, and that was the exorcism scenes. I keep going back and forth. Like, I know as you're listening to me talk about this movie, you're thinking to yourself, well, is this a good movie or a bad movie? You're not making sense. It's both. It's so bad that it's good. And I mean, it's not often that you get those. I enjoy them. I have fun with them. I enjoyed watching this. It's not a good movie. I'm telling you why it's not a good movie, but it's also an entertaining and enjoyable movie. Now, where was I? The exorcism scene, very entertaining in my opinion. The effects go back and forth. There's some effects in this movie that are very good. Some of the practical effects were very good, but then they kind of muck it up with some less than good CGI. So it's hit or miss. I actually thought the creature makeup was done pretty well. It's just that something didn't make it quite scary. I can put my finger on why it wasn't scary. I think it's the dialogue. I think the dialogue made me laugh, and I can't be scared while I'm laughing at you. And a funny thing about the story, I just finished telling you about what an awful person Ebony is. She wanted to kick everybody's ass, the world's ass, except for the demon. So when the demon came out, she just, punked right up. You were big boss lady, evil. I run this block until that demon showed up, and then you just backed right down. But then again, everyone is Billy Badass until the demon shows up. Obviously, she finally, collects herself and gathers her strength to face the demon. And it's very literal in that she's facing her own demons. If you've seen the movie, you'll know what I mean. I actually was going to do the cosplay of Ebony as the demon, but my sister said, no, don't do that. People won't watch your whole video if you look too evil. But I might still do it for just a photo shoot or something, just for fun. Y'all let me know in the comments if you want me to do Demon Ebony. The final confrontation with the demon was very interesting. I've seen better, I've seen worse. I have to respect the demon that does it was a wrestling move. Was it a suplex or was it a power bomb? I don't think it was a power bomb. I think the demon power bombed her ass. And I'm just like, and it was filmed like you were watching a wrestling match too. This is what I'm talking about. It's so bad, it's good. I kind of see what Lee Daniels tried to do, making Ebony a mess at the start of the movie. And then having her straighten herself out to face the demonic threat and save her family. In principle, that sounds good, but the execution was lacking, and I'll tell you why. Her character was too evil and villainous. There was not much complexity to her. I know there was little hints that she would say to Alberta about her upbringing, and then there's one little flashback, but I feel like it needed to be fleshed out more. Also, she was evil 100% of the time, and it made me think, does Lee Daniel know any alcoholics? Because I do. And they're not always evil. Like, sometimes they can be party drunks and then, later on become evil, but they're not always evil 100% of the time. Some of them can be quite Jekyll and Hyde-ish. Anyways, I woke up at the crack ass of dawn so I can get this review out early. And then Amazon took forever to deliver me my pink scrubs. I don't have Prime. I'm sorry. I don't have Amazon Prime. So I had to just wait it out. I hope you appreciate it though. Got the whole fit. Look at this. So you can see I got the pants too. They're pretty comfortable. I might just wear this around the house just because. Anyways, The Deliverance was an okay watch. If you don't watch as much horror as I watch, you most likely will get scared by the creepy scenes. I am just completely desensitized. So it's hard for me to gauge what's scary to another individual. I enjoyed the actors. I enjoyed the practical effects. Not so much the CGI. The cinematography was great. I mean, it's a good looking film, the way it's shot. Very, very good looking. The sound design was pretty good. So I would definitely suggest you, if you have a surround sound system, watch this in surround sound. But then most Netflix releases have an amazing sound to them. Like there was a movie I reviewed. What was it called? The Open House. Horrible movie. Great sound. I ended up rewatching this with my family, and it's an even more fun group watch. It's not a good movie in my opinion, but it's a fun movie. In a Tubi kind of way. And I had fun rewatching it. I know you didn't think I was going to leave without talking to you about the line. And you know the line I'm talking about if you've seen this movie.
I can smell your nappy pussy.
That was the line that sent my sister over the edge. She actually stopped the movie and then went out of like the where you pause it on Netflix just so that she can give it a thumbs down. she said, "No, not today, Satan." But I laughed. I laughed until I almost had tears in my eyes at that scene. And I know I said I wanted newer possession movies to be more like The Exorcist and have these shit-talking demons. That's what's missing in most modern possession films. The shit-talking demon.
Stick your cock up her ass, you motherfucking worthless cocksucker.
Be silent!
Your mother sucks cocks in hell, Karis, you faithless swine.
Come on. I cast you out! Unclean spirit!
Show it up your ass,
in the name
you
of our
faggot.
Lord Jesus Christ! It is he who commands you! He who plunged heights of heaven to the depths of hell!
Fuck him!
Be gone!
Fuck him, Karis!
From
Fuck
this
him.
creature of God!
Like, not just The Exorcist, but also Abby. If you haven't seen Abby, Abby is the Black Exorcist from 1974. I have reviewed it on my channel, and I think it's worth a watch. I really enjoy it. Unfortunately, there's not a remastered version. There's only just VHS versions, and there is an upload, a VHS upload on YouTube and also on Tubi. The one on Tubi is slightly more clear than the one on YouTube, but definitely watch Abby, the Black Exorcist. Also a shit-talking demon, much like Reagan.
I'm not your hoe. Oh, come on, Abby. Shit, you ain't got enough to satisfy me. You fucking son of a bitch!
What you mean, Abby?
Like the facts of life, stupid. All men are not created equal. Better make sure what is got first. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna take old Long George upstairs and fuck the shit out of him. Abby! That's what I'm gonna do! That's my sleep service for today!
Abby, rated R.
But like I was saying, I wanted more modern Exorcist movies to do that with how the demon spoke. Can you imagine how audiences in 1973 reacted to that? I mean, you don't have to imagine it. There's footage of them coming out of the theater, some of them passing out, like it was a whole thing.
It didn't scare me. I don't know what happened. I just fainted. It was frightening.
If she ain't out here, he
Well, as soon as they faint, I get out the smelling salts, and we have two kinds. We have a little bottle with smelling salts, and I uncap it, and I hold it under their nose, and they come to, or else we have the little pellets, and I break them, and then they come to. And most of them, once they fainted, they don't go back into the picture.
I got you, and
And my thing is, yes, the line is quite racist, but demons are evil. And what is more evil than racism? I mean, demons are gonna say evil stuff. Nowadays, if you had the demons say the things that Reagan was saying, I don't even think it would move the needle as far as audience shock, because we're not shocked by sexual things anymore, unfortunately. But certain things regarding race are still shocking. And I think that was Lee Daniels' thought process. Unfortunately, because the line is, I don't know how to describe it, laughably bad, you don't get the same impact. So yeah, you're shocked for a hot second and then you start laughing because it's so ridiculous. Absolutely so ridiculous. And it was at this moment I realized that Lee Daniels is just a slightly more adept Tyler Perry. He's got, I mean, the wigs are better in his movies, that's for one thing. When people go places, they appear to have actual food. Like there's a whole scene at a McDonald's in this for no reason other than probably sponsorship, but they actually had cups, and I can't remember what they were eating, but it looked like food. So that's a step up from Tyler Perry. Mr. Chocolate. Sorry, I had to. In between the time that I was writing my notes on this movie and recording this, I saw that Lee Daniels had made a comment about the Albertas being the fabric of the Black community. And I just said,
Nigga, please.
do I even need to discuss this foolishness, or should we just receive it as the rage bait that it's meant to be? Some of these people, they try to do rage bait and they want you to get upset with them because it drives engagement. Let's not. Let's just ignore that and acknowledge it for the whack-ass bullshit statement that it was. I don't know, what were we going to do with Tyler Perry, Lee Daniels, and Kenya Barris? We need to have a meeting and decide what we're going to do with these people, because I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. My final thought is that The Deliverance is a bad, fun movie, or fun, bad movie. You know what I mean? I like to have fun watching movies, and this one had so many unintentionally funny moments that I had no choice but to enjoy myself. But like I always say, don't take my word for it. Watch it for yourself. Just because I love something doesn't mean you won't hate it, and just because I hate something doesn't mean you won't love it. Have you seen The Deliverance on Netflix? What did you think? Do you think there will be a sequel or a prequel? Because you could tell the story about the family that was in the house before Ebony's family, or you could tell the story about a family that moved into the house after Ebony's family. I could see that happening. I don't know whether I want it to happen or not. I'm so perplexed by this movie. Like, you ever just enjoy something and you know that it's bad? That's another question for you in the comments. What movie do you know is horrible, but you still enjoy watching it? Let me know in the comments. Until next time.
Why would you sniff my breath like that in front of my kids, Mom? You know I wasn't drunk. I've knocked bitches' teeth out for less.
Let me do it, bitch.
Special thank you to my patrons. If you are new here, welcome to my channel. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Reminder to new and returning Latchkey kids, don't forget to follow me on your preferred social media platform, and check the community tab on YouTube for some fun extras. By the way, here are some other videos you might like.